What is up, SEC Nation? It's your good buddy Jackson Johnson here to give you the reaction to the Texas A&M matchup that just occurred on Friday night and the Georgia Tech matchup. All right here on SEC at the Voice of College Football. Now, Texas A&M has just lost to the Texas Longhorns. Number one, no more. They will not be playing in the SEC title game for the first time since they joined in 2012, of course. They will be having a first round playoff game. Well, that's their consolation prize, of course. But it's going to be a wild ride to see what happens. Did Texas do enough to earn a playoff spot? Well, that's going to be a possibility because the thing is, there's a lot of lobbying, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of lobbying on as to whether the Longhorns should be in or not. You know, Sark is going to. You know that's going to happen. You knew it. You knew it'd be happening the moment Texas won. Some say, well, it's because the fact that they had Ohio State on the schedule, and if they wouldn't have played Ohio State, then they wouldn't have this problem. I say it's more of the fact that you lost to an 8-loss Florida team who could be a 9-loss Florida team. Just saying. I mean, it's worse than 2013 Florida, but again, you shouldn't be having to brag about who you lost to. That's a fact, Cowboys. But that's the thing, though. Like, ever since Texas has joined the SEC, we have been back to having the Texas A&M rivalry in the world of college football. Now, that has been a humongous part for Texas joining the SEC, is the return of the Texas A&M rivalry. And it's back in black. You know, Texas defeated the A&M Aggies last year on the road, and then they defeat them tonight in Austin, Texas on Black Friday. But yeah, you know, we saw Arch Manning having a great night tonight against the Aggies. Humongous night. Humongous. Unbelievable. You know, because like 129 passing yards, 14 of 29 completed passes, 1 touchdown. I mean, well, okay. Well, Travion Weaver had a humongous night with 19 carries and 155 rushing yards. And, you know, Jack Andres and Ryan Wingo and Parker Livingston and Wisner, they were just rocking and rolling as well. They were just like bam, 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 bam. They were rolling. Now, that's the thing, though, is like the run game has not looked good throughout the 2025 season for the Longhorns. But tonight, it looked a lot better. It looked like something you see from Notre Dame this season. That's what it looked like. If you're looking at the Texas Longhorns tonight, you would think Earl Campbell was on that squad again. I mean, you know happy days are here again for the Longhorns. You know happy days are here again. Now, the A&M Aggies, on the other hand, they're not getting that first round bye. That's all gone. They're not going to the SEC title game. That's all gone too. But could they have a home game in the playoffs? That's a possibility. They could be playing at home or they could be playing on the road. But we don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know. We know Texas A&M is a lock for the playoffs. But who are they going to be playing? We're going to wait and see. How far do they drop down Tuesday night? That's what you're going to have to watch for Tuesday on December 2nd on ESPN on the CFP rankings. You're going to see it all. You're going to see it all. And with Texas beating Texas A&M, you want to know what that means, right? We know that Alabama, all they have to do is beat Auburn. They're in the SEC title game. The Georgia Bulldogs are basically in at this point. They needed a Texas win or an Auburn win. And Georgia's in the SEC title game. Texas A&M's situation was simple. Win and you're in the SEC title game. Ole Miss is still alive. That's something to remember. And for those that are just tuning in into this video on SEC at the Voice of College Football, there's something to remember. Vanderbilt has never played in the SEC title game. Texas has never played in the SEC title game. Well, I mean, Texas has been there 2 years, but they're. Why did I say Texas has never been played in the SEC title game? I meant to say Oklahoma. Sorry, folks. Let me get myself corrected. Oklahoma, Vandy have never been in the SEC title game. Texas A&M has never been in the SEC title game. Kentucky has never been in the SEC title game. Vanderbilt has never been in the SEC title game. So that's 5 teams. 5 teams that have never been in the SEC title game. Now, Oklahoma's going to end that streak pretty soon. That probably like next year or the year after that. Definitely before this decade ends. So that is something to remember. But let's make sure just in case, because I could be wrong. And yep, I thought I was right. Kentucky, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt. Oklahoma's ending that streak. But does Ole Miss in that streak? That's going to be the question there. Because all Ole Miss needs is for Alabama to lose to Auburn on Saturday night. That's all they need. That's all Ole Miss needs. And they are good to go, getting in the SEC title game, getting a shot at revenge against the Georgia Bulldogs. They are crossing their fingers. Alabama has to win, and they're in the SEC title game. Now, we look at Texas A&M and Texas. That was a huge one right there. And Texas is just lobbying. I mean, the defense stepped up tonight. Like, they stepped up big time. I mean, they forced 2 turnovers, ladies and gentlemen. They were forcing 2 turnovers. And unfortunately, Marcel Reed was hurting tonight. Like, he was getting hurt all over the place. He got hurt. We hope he's all right. You know, we hope he'll be all right for the playoffs. But, you know, it's like, it was just a wild ride tonight, you know, because, like, he wound up hurting his ankle a little bit. But he was able to come back. And things seem to be all good. But I think that ankle injury hurt Texas A&M, and it hurt Marcel Reed, obviously. Just really hope that Marcel Reed's doing all right. You know, like, don't be playing hurt when yeah, just like kind of be careful with your body, Marcel. You'll be good to go. Just be careful. Make sure you don't try getting in right away if you know you're hurting. That's all I say to Marcel Reed. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're playing hurt, it's going to be worse for you and your team. Don't let your emotions get to you. Right here. As for Georgia Tech, now that had nothing to do with the SEC title race, of course. Although I wish it did, though, because I mean, I'm a sucker for Georgia Tech being a conference game in the future if there's future conference realignment. Well, that's no time for another day. But it was a tight one between the Bulldogs and the Yellow Jackets. You know, Nate Fraser's having a great day, having 108 rushing yards. And, you know, it was just like a low-scoring game. A low-scoring game. It was. And, you know, like Georgia was holding a 10-yard advantage in total yards for this one. I mean, you wouldn't think it, but somebody had to win this game. And, it started out as a 3-0 lead by the Yellow Jackets, but then the Bulldogs scored 13 unanswered points in the second quarter. With a field goal to just kind of start things off. It's good. Then you see Stockton throwing passes to Zachariah Branch for a 7-yarder. He's just getting his team rocking and rolling. And another field goal, another field goal, another field goal, another field goal. You're good. Then you see that Georgia defense just like putting Haynes King in impossible situations. Just impossible situations as Robinson the fourth was intercepting Haynes King. And again, you see the Bulldogs just getting field goal after field goal. But, when Georgia Tech was able to get the ball at last to basically end the game, I thought for a moment we were going to have a wild finish and going to overtime, honestly. I thought we were going to have a wild end to regulation. I think a lot of you did, ladies and gentlemen. Because especially in that second play, because like Haynes King just making sure he's throwing a short pass to Haynes, 8-yarder, right? And at the Georgia Tech 28, he's throwing a 28-yard pass to his guy Canyon. And he gets out of bounds just in time. Just in time. 1 second. You thought the game was going to stop? You thought it was going to hit 0? No. Bro got out of bounds right in time. You want to talk about good timing? That is hella good timing, ladies and gentlemen. And then you see King just throwing a Hail Mary pass at the Georgia 44, but then it's batted down. And as they say in that Weird Al Yankovic song, close but no cigar for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And again, it has no bearing on conference teams, but still, though, it has bearing on state pride because the Georgia Bulldogs, once again, get to say we're the best in Georgia. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, it's another loss to Georgia. But think about this, though. Georgia Tech used to be dominated by Georgia constantly. And, some people were saying that it was stupid that Georgia Tech was all Black Friday. But if anything, I say it's helped the rivalry. Because if you're putting it at noon Eastern time on Saturday on rivalry week, or if you're putting it on Saturday as a whole, just like putting it in 11 a.m. Central and noon Eastern, or putting it on with something else, I'm just going to tell you right now, not enough people are going to watch the Georgia Tech rivalry, a.k.a. clean old-fashioned hate. At least this time, Jesse Palmer wasn't over-focusing on that stupid Bachelorette show, and he was actually focusing on Georgia Tech. I'm impressed with that. But Georgia Tech still has a lot to play for, believe it or not. They need some magic in order to get in the ACC title game. I know, right? I know. That's just like, holy Toledo, they need some magic to happen. I mean, I know this is SEC channel, but still, though, Georgia Tech needs magic to happen in order to get into the ACC title game. They need Virginia Tech to continue their winning streak over Virginia. They need Miami to kind of make sure that they choke against Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, they need, because like if there's one thing Miami does when the spotlight isn't all on them, it's blowing it. That's the thing about the Miami Hurricanes. SMU Cal. Let's talk about them for a moment. Now, Cal has to upset SMU for Georgia Tech to have a chance. And then SMU, not Georgia Tech needs a few more things. They need Duke to lose to Wake Forest, and they need North Carolina State to win against North Carolina. Who knows? In this crazy world of college football, who knows? And if Georgia Tech's in the ACC title game and then wins it in the fourth season of the Brent Key era and in the fourth season of the Brent Key era, I'm going to tell you right now, that could really look good for Georgia right there. That could really look good for the Bulldogs. I will say, though, it's a shame Georgia Tech lost to North Carolina State and lost to Pitt last week. But, I mean, oh, well, we don't always get everything we want, right? But I will tell you, it was a fun ride watching the Texas A&M matchup and the Georgia Tech matchup all right on ABC for Black Friday. And I got to say, it was a smart move not to have Arkansas, Missouri on Black Friday. Because, like, who really got excited about Arkansas, Missouri on Black Friday? Nobody. And I think the SEC knew that because next year, that's not going to be an annual matchup, at least for the next 4 years anyway. But, you know, there we go. Now, Texas A&M out of the top 4. How far do they fall down? That's when we find out Tuesday night. The Georgia Bulldogs, are they in the SEC title game? Yes, definitely, absolutely. They're automatically in. But is Georgia going to play Ole Miss? Or are they going to play Alabama? We will know more after the conclusion of the 2025 Iron Bowl. That's what we will know for sure. Is Texas? Did Texas do enough to clinch a playoff berth? I'm not going to lie to you. They need some magic in order to get into the playoffs. They need Pittsburgh to upset Miami. That's what they need. They need BYU to lose to Central Florida. They need Notre Dame to lose Stanford. I think they'd be cool with Vanderbilt losing and Oklahoma losing and Alabama losing. They would love for all those scenarios. Because like, if Alabama, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma all lose on the same day on Saturday, you know what's going to happen? That helps the Texas Longhorns because they're sitting there watching those 3 games and they're saying, yeah, we're in, boys. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. They need something like that to happen. But with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification down below to SEC at the Voice of College Football. Share this video so you never miss. Share this video. Share the channel link so you never miss no video whatsoever. And we will be seeing you soon. Stay safe. Stay warm. It's cold out. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, everybody.